All right, guys, what's going on? Hope everybody's out there staying high speed and accomplishing their goals, whatever they may be. So I'm out here around the All-American Trail. At least that's what I'm looking for. I think I'm pretty close to it. I'll find it, not too worried about it. Getting myself ready to go out and conduct an 8-mile ruck march. This will be my second ruck march for the week, and this is part of my training plan to help myself get ready for the 25K ruck march event called the Fan Dance out there in Wales, going through the Brecon Beacons mountain range. I really had to cram in a lot of training in a short period of time. I only gave myself about a month and a half to train up for this event, and I'm only in not even week 2 at this point. Got about a month left until I'm out there just crushing it in the mountains. And I'm really looking forward to it. You know, I'm really doing really well with my training. I'm super motivated. I love getting out here, you know, in the wilderness, in the wild, you know, with a big backpack on my back, boots on my feet, and just putting miles in. You know what I mean? There's nothing better than that. And part of this training plan, I really had to bring myself back to the basics, all right? Mainly because I haven't really been ruck marching in my free time as much as I used to, and also because I'm using a brand new rucksack, one that I'm not fully accustomed to. Usually I use the Molly 2 ruck, the one that the Army issues you to go out there and do my ruck marching, but now I'm using a Crossfire DG Gritty. It's actually a modded out DG3, but I'm calling it the DG Gritty from Crossfire. And like I mentioned, I'm bringing it back to the basics to make sure that I'm hitting all the marks that I should be, to make sure that I'm training up appropriately and I'm getting the most progress I possibly can out of my training, and I'm mitigating all the potential injuries that I could cause myself because I'm just not doing something right. So I've really made sure to bring myself to focus back down into the basics. And since I've really been spending a whole lot of time and energy on getting back after the basics myself, I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to share some of this insight with you and let you guys know out there, you guys out there that are interested in ruck marching, whether you're a beginner or maybe you're intermediate, more advanced, maybe you've been doing it for years and you just need to be reminded about how to do things properly and some of the things that you should take seriously when you're out there training with your ruck marching. These are some of the things that I've found over the years that without a doubt are going to be some of the most critical factors to making sure that you get the best bang for your buck when you're out there putting time underneath the rucksack and you're mitigating injury. So let's talk about it a little bit. So first things first, obviously you want to have a good rucksack. Okay, you military people out there, I think the Molly 2 is a solid rucksack. There really isn't anything wrong with it. Just make sure that it's all fitted to you. Now, if you're not in the military, or maybe you're just somebody that wants to try something different than the Molly 2, just make sure that whatever you choose to use as your rucksack when you're out there putting your PT in, make sure it's actually built for something like that, okay? You don't want to be rocking a backpack that you would typically use for school, or something with like minimal comfort features, something that doesn't have a nice thick structured frame to actually hold the weight that you're going to be putting inside of it. And make sure that it's actually something that's going to be able to hold enough weight. Your weight that you're striving for to be able to carry in your rucksack should be anywhere between 20 to maybe 50 to 60 pounds even, all right? So it has to be able to carry that sort of weight. And there's a lot of rucksacks out there to choose from, guys. I'll be honest with you. You really can't go wrong with the Molly systems, the ones that the Army uses. Mystery Ranch makes some pretty good rucksacks, and Crossfire absolutely makes some good packs. So if you're just not really sure where to start, I would start with one of those. Now, once you've got your pack and you're ready to get started, you're just super motivated to get out there and put some miles under your feet, you want to make sure that you pack out your pack correctly. You want to make sure that you distribute the weight that you're putting in there correctly, and you want to make sure that you have the appropriate amount of weight for you. Now, how much weight do you need? If you are brand new to ruck marching and you're just not used to carrying weight on your back, I wouldn't start out with anything more than 10 to 20 pounds, okay? That should be just enough weight for you to get used to carrying something on your back, and it shouldn't be too much weight where you could possibly give yourself an injury, because that's the last thing we want when we're out here ruck marching, right? If you're a little more experienced, you should be shooting around anywhere between 30 to 40 to 50 pounds, and if you're really trying to go crazy with yourself, that's when you can start hitting the heavier marks, anywhere between 60 and 80 pounds. But I would not recommend doing that a whole lot. I would say, for me, being a military guy and for ruck marching a lot throughout my life, I would say a good sweet spot for weight is about 35 pounds dry. Okay, what I mean when I say dry is that's 35 pounds of actual weight, the weight that you've stuffed into the sack, that doesn't count any weight that is accounted for when you're talking about your water or your food, okay? So obviously when you add your water onto that you're going to need while you're out there, that weight does not count, but it could potentially add another 5 or 10 pounds. But 35 pounds dry should set you right. All right, real quick with weight distribution, this should only take me a second. I just want to make sure you guys are tracking what I mean when I say you need to have the right weight distribution. When you're packing out your rucksack, all the lightest weight with whatever you're using to pack it out should really be at the bottom of the pack and the furthest away from your back. Okay, so this area and right here. All the heaviest stuff should be closest to your back and highest up on your back. So this area here. You can see I have my camelback, it's kind of protruding out here right on top of my rucksack. And a lot of the reason I do that is to make sure, because this thing weighs almost 10 pounds by itself, to make sure that I have that big pack of weight highest up on my back, highest up on my shoulders, and still very close to my back as well. And then I also have a bunch of MREs and a couple 5-pound plates that are packed in here, and they are also in this section of the pack. All right, they're right here high up on the shoulders, very close to my back. That's going to help you balance out and put the weight where it needs to be on your center of gravity as you're making your movement. And this is really important, okay? Because if you put all the weight at the bottom of your pack, it's just going to be dragging the pack onto your shoulders, and it's going to feel like you're carrying a lot more weight than you actually are, and you're just going to be sucking, okay? So make sure you pack out the pack like I mentioned. Let's see where mine's at. I want to say mine is at around 45 pounds right now. Just about 45 pounds. And that's good because I wanted to pack it out at around 35 pounds dry, and this is my completed out rucksack with the water and all my goodies. And since we're talking about goodies, I want to talk a little bit about nutrition while you're out there doing your ruck march. I know a lot of you out there, there's a lot of different reasons why we would be doing a ruck march, especially for fitness. It could be to lose weight, it could be to increase your endurance. There's a lot of different reasons, right? But I would say that when you're out there doing your ruck marching, it's extremely important to remember that you have to have some sustainment with you, especially when you're out there for anywhere over 4 miles, okay? And the sustainment that I'm talking about are things like Cliff Bars, Kind bars, things that will give you sustained energy and will digest easily while you're on the move. Not to mention small and pack outable. Even if you're doing this to lose weight, it's important to keep yourself sustained energy-wise, okay? Just remember this, if you keep yourself sustained energy-wise appropriately while you're out there doing your ruck, you can go further, faster, and for longer, all right? And I understand if you're trying to lose weight, you're thinking, well, now I'm just putting calories in while I'm burning them, but that's okay. Let me give you this real quick. When you're out there ruck marching, this is gonna be different for depending on your own individual weight, right? But I would say the average, when you're out there ruck marching, you are burning around, could be a little more, could be a little less, you're burning around 150 calories per mile, okay? That's a lot of calories. If you were to go out there and do this for 6 miles, that's 900 calories at least. So you need to put a little bit of that back just to make sure that you have enough energy to actually get you through that workout. And ruck marching like this regularly is going to increase your metabolism exponentially anyways. So even just existing, if you are ruck marching regularly, you'll be burning more calories than you normally would if you weren't doing this sort of exercise. Okay, so don't worry too much about putting back the calories while you're out here actually doing your ruck march. You have to stay nutritionally balanced, and you have to make sure you have enough energy to get out here and get after it. Now, there's another really simple concept that for some reason I feel like a lot of people out there seem to forget about, but this one's critical, and that is making sure that you have appropriate footwear, because it's your feet that are going to be out there taking the most abuse as you're out there doing your ruck march. I think it's really important that you find something that's going to offer you some sort of stability, something that's going to give you some sort of support, cushion, and something that can take a little bit of abuse. And for me, being the military man that I am, again, I have found that the Garmont NFS boots are perfect for ruck marching. Whether you're out there stepping it out or you're trying to get a little bit more speed under you, you know, trotting it out, something like that, these things are perfect. They're lightweight, they can take a lot of abuse, plenty of cushion, and they have support on the ankle, all right? And they're just super comfortable. And along with your boots, it's just as important to make sure that you have good socks, okay? You want to have good, nice, thick, cushioned socks to stave off all those blisters and to stop the moving around of your foot inside the boot as much as possible. All right, so for me, I've always used, and I still continue to use today, the Fox River Fatigue Fighters. These socks are magnificent for ruck marching. I'm still using them. This is my boot and sock combo today, forever. As long as I can buy these pieces of equipment, I'm gonna continue to do so. And I'm always saying, I think you need to have a very specific boot and sock combo for you, okay? This is my boot and sock combo. Over years and years of experimenting, I have found that this together is the perfect boot and sock combo for me when I'm out here putting miles under my feet. It's almost like my feet have somehow conformed to the boot itself, and now it's like if I wore anything different, I would totally be able to tell my feet just would not be able to handle it as well. So find yourself a good boot and sock combo. Don't wear running shoes. You don't want that. Don't wear sneakers, anything like that. You need to find something, like I said, with good support, something that can take a beating, and something with comfort. And I would say, you know, military boots are most likely a great way to start. And I will drop links to these in the description so that you can go check out yourself in case you just need a place to start. I would highly recommend these boots and these socks. All right, so I'm gonna put you guys down just for a second because we gotta start going. I gotta start going here. We gotta walk and talk. I'll also say you definitely want to find a pack that's comfortable for you, okay? Don't skimp out on the comfort, especially when you're out there trying to put a whole lot of miles in. Comfort is gonna play a key role in your motivation levels as you're out there doing your ruck. And use the straps that the rucksack comes with. You can see I'm using my waistband, all right? That helps me to distribute the weight and pull it off my back, and actually draws it a little bit of it to my waist, okay? So that way I'm not just pulling all the way back with my shoulders. It helps me to evenly distribute the weight of the pack itself. You want to cinch down your shoulder strap so that the weight stays tight to your back. You don't want to have it so tight that it's cutting off blood circulation to your shoulders. Don't do that to yourself, but you don't want to be having it super loose and hanging down. It should be nice and tight, nice and secure and stable. Same goes for the chest strap. You want to make sure you're using the chest strap. Don't have it so tight that it's cutting off blood circulation, but you want to keep it there to make sure that it keeps the straps nice and secure and where they should be, and that's going to maximize your comfort levels, and it's just going to make your shoulders feel a whole lot better over time, or as good as they can anyway. Sometimes your shoulders are just going to hurt, guys. That's part of this. Have your water readily available at all times. Far too often I'll see people out there with water bottles that they can't reach, you know, somehow attached to their ruck back there, or just hanging off the back or something like that. I don't really understand that. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You want to make it so you can get to your water anytime you need it, all right? Because you should be really just regularly sipping your water as you're doing your ruck march. You don't want to be chugging it, because then you're just going to give yourself cramps and it's just not going to feel great. But if you sip it, you know, every few hundred meters, you should be good to go. That's why camelbacks are great for that. And I always like to just let mine hang right to the side. No big deal. All right, let's get after it. Watch out for the poison ivy. Jesus, there's a whole bunch right there. All right, so I got a couple more things I want to talk to you guys about before I let you go and actually get going on my training here. And when we're talking about speed, you know, how fast should you be rucking out there? I would say that a good solid roundabout answer for that is around 15 minutes per mile, or 15-minute mile. Now, if you're just starting out, that might be a little fast, okay? But it's definitely something that you should be working up to. And in order to achieve a 15-minute mile wearing something like a 35-pound pack dry, you're really gonna have to be strutting it out, okay? This isn't like a leisure stroll. That would be around a pace like this. Now you can see I'm moving. You know, a 15-minute mile is gonna get you breathing heavy. It's gonna make sure that you're actually getting the most out of the workout, and it's gonna make it so that you're not wasting a whole lot of time. Now, if that's like a struggle for you and you just can't really achieve that standard right off the bat, no big deal. You know, just do the best you can and get used to actually walking with weight on your back. You don't want to go too hard too fast, because then you're just begging for injury, and that's the last thing I'd want you to do. I want you to really focus on your foot plant. I want you to focus on your stride and being able to control the weight at the base of your body, because really, even though a lot of the weight is sitting here on my shoulders, it's my legs and all the joints that make up my legs that are taking a lot of the brunt of that weight. So make sure you feel comfortable with the weight on your back and moving with that weight before you try to increase the speed at all. And as you get more and more comfortable with it, you'll see speed will come, you'll be able to challenge yourself more and more, and you'll get more and more out of your ruck marching workouts as you progress. And eventually, you'll be able to run with a rucksack without causing injury to yourself and reach speeds to around 9 to 10 minute miles. But don't do that right off the bat, okay? Because you're just gonna hurt yourself. That's not what I'm not telling you to do that. Now, locations for ruck marching. You wanna try to avoid hard surfaces. You wanna get out there in the trails. You wanna get out there where it's soft surfaces. You wanna make sure that your ruck training is as low impact for you as possible. That's gonna help you to absorb all the shock that you're putting onto your body regardless of your speed. It's gonna help you to avoid injuries, and it's going to help you to build up strength in those little tweaker muscles in your legs and the large muscles of your legs, and just become a better ruck marcher overall. So make sure that you're out there putting the majority of your ruck training, I don't know where you live, I don't know what you have available to you, but on off-road trails. For your city folks out there, you know, all I can say is I would just try to limit your time on the sidewalks as much as possible, but we all have to do it sometimes. I go out there, I do ruck marches on the street all the time, but I do try my best to hit the trails whenever humanly possible for myself. It's gonna save you a lot of pain, and it's just gonna make you better. All right, guys, one more subject before I let you go, and this will be quick. Let's just real quick touch on the frequency. What sort of frequency are you aiming to achieve with your ruck training? How often should you be rucking? I would say for most of you out there that are anywhere between just starting out fresh to intermediate to moving into the advanced level of rucking, you shouldn't be training any more than 2 times a week. Keeping one of those training sessions more of like a leisurely stroll, okay, nice and easy. You're really just focusing on your strut and your form and just moving with the load. And your second session, really focusing on increasing your speed. Twice a week, give yourself at least a day buffer in between, at least a day. Now, what those 2 individual sessions are gonna look like, that's all gonna be dependent on your own individual training plan and the goal that you're actually after yourself. But I do feel confident in saying that you shouldn't be rucking any more than 2 times a week, because if you do, you're just putting too much strain on your body. You're not allowing yourself enough time to heal, and you're really just doing more harm than good. In most cases. And if you're still looking to put some miles under your feet during the week, go ahead and supplement your ruck training with some running. And running in between your ruck marching training is a great way to supplement your training while still giving your body the recovery that it needs. All right, guys, so those are some of the basics of ruck marching. Those are some of the things that I've really been focusing on lately as I'm making my way through this training. I'm having a great time doing this. I'm really taking this training seriously. I know I haven't had a whole lot of time to get after it, and I know I've only got about a month left, but I'm really hitting it hard, okay? I promise you guys. If you like this video and got something out of the content, please do not forget to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. I really do appreciate it when you guys do that. Plus, you don't want to miss any of my future videos. We talk about all sorts of things on this channel. We have a whole bunch of more information on ruck marching, more to come, I promise you. We talk about all things fitness, military career enhancement, motivation in life, all sorts of things. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll keep you guys updated as I'm making my way through training for this fan dance coming up. I've got about a month left, so you can expect a few more videos about that. But now it's time for me to really get going and focus on this training day, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So besides that, I've got nothing else for you, and I'll see you on the next one.